Hi everybody, it's Mark here again from PCN Solutions, and I'm bringing you another demonstration for the IMS, that is short for Internal Management System. Today's video will be over the client and invoicing module that is incorporated into the IMS. For any further info at the end of this session, you can email on info@pcnsolutions.com. Okay, as before, you will see then a user-friendly, very simple logon form. Here you can log in with the username and password, and you can set the user's default language. That is the language of the interface that you will be working with, and the user has also the choice to save the password on the computer. If you have the time registration module, you will have also the function to be able to log directly on and add in your hours for the work that you've been doing on a project or by a client. Okay, so the logon consists of two back-end functionalities. One of them is then the discipline, and one of them is the security. Now, the discipline will take the user directly to a particular place in the IMS. For example, if it is a management and he has a high security, he will come straight to the administration form, where he can select any type of discipline and go to any part of the IMS software. Whereas a user with a default of a low security with a singular discipline, that user will then only come into the particular discipline that they're assigned to, and will have minimal user rights and capabilities in the IMS. Okay, so I'm going to log on. And as I mentioned, today's session will be over the client system, so I'm not going to give you a whole explanation about the projects and disciplines and reporting. That is all done in the projects and reporting video that I have uploaded to the YouTube channel where you can follow us and view our software as we present it in our videos. Here we have the basic modules active. We have the users, clients, reports, time registration, time reporting, and suppliers and stock control. There are other modules, but I have not activated them for this demonstration. Okay, so I'm going to click on the clients, and you'll see that my design changes, and I have a very simple layout, and it does what I need it to do. It lists my clients for me. Okay, so we have two functions to be able to access the most of our system. We can double click. If you're a nervous clicker like myself and you just want to get there straight away, you can just double click and you will enter the next process. Or you can click, select, and press the select button. You can also create a new client from this section. Right now I'm going to go the quick and easy way. I'm just going to double click. And voila, we come into the clients form. Again, very, very, very simple, basic user interface with only the details on hand that we need to be working with. Now, your company's needs might be a little bit greater, and you might need more fields, more data, and more text to be able to place in. This is all manipulable because our system is dynamic. We can add in pretty much any data fields that we need to suit your needs. Again, the logged in user is shown, the date and the time that they logged in, and their current client or the current project that they are logged into. If, of course, you have the projects module activated into your system. So we'll start with the basics. We have the details tab, where we have an overview of the basic data and information. Also in the details tab you will see what represents our system quite regularly in our videos, and that is our dossier, our file control system, whatever terminology you would like to use for it. That gives us the opportunity to compile and organize all of our folders and files that we deem necessary in our company. This speeds up the time process for accessing information, for example, offers, calculations, any kind of project files, client data information, and so on, so on, so on. For an example, we can add into our structure, we can add a new folder. If we click this, it will ask us to create to give the folder a name. You can see I already have test and test 1, so I'm going to do test 2. That will create oh, excuse my typing mistakes there. So we have here test 2, and then immediately the IMS will then ask you if you would like to import some files. Well, yeah, okay, let's say I'm a project leader. I've just come from a project and I've got some new AutoCAD templates, and I've got some documents from the client that I want to get directly into my database so that it's organized and I don't lose it. So I'm going to click yes. For basic reasons, I'm just going to go to my documents and I'm going to look here for a particular file. Any file, doesn't really matter. It can be an executable, it can be a picture, it doesn't really matter. We can import anything into the system. So I'm going to say, let's take a few files, shall we? I'm going to take these, I'm going to take this, and voila, voila, and voila, there you go. It's created a new folder, and it again has added the files that I wanted into that folder. And if I want to, I can even click on this Firefox and activate it, and it will run it in its default application, as you can see here from this example. The same with any of the others. If I click on this and click on the view button, it will take me to one of the custom reports that I've created in the IMS system, and voila, there we go. Okay, that's basically the dossier. Now there's many ways you can add information into this structure. You can add it manually. For example, you can go into one of the folders, say the hierarchy of the folder, and you can say I want to create a new folder. This folder, I'm going to call it Bob's folder. Doesn't really matter. Okay, there you go. Bob's folder is now in, but it's not in our structure. All we have to do is click refresh, and you will see alphabetically organized Bob's folder comes in. That simple, no hassle, and everything is organized, and that is based on the hierarchy of your system at that present time. And the hierarchy of the system at this present time is then my client. If I go to another demo client, you'll see that he has no dossier apart from a small invoicing section that I set up. I go back now to my other test client and get all the data back. Now we can also scan documents in. We found it a handy little tool in an office environment. You get in different emails, they come digitally in, and you want to assign them straight into your project. You don't want to mess around with anything. Very easy to do. You'll just click scan. It'll connect to your default scanner. For example, you have an IT company that's set up all of these things for you, and the system will see it automatically. You can probably hear it in the background right now. He's chomping away and gathering all the information from the particular document. And then I got a little window where I can type in the name. I'm going to call this test doc. Totally different name here. Voila. He's named it, and you can see from the description here that it's added it into my client's folder in the scan documents, and he's named it test doc. I'm not going to scan any more pages, and here you will see it popping in between all the rest. Voila, it is done. Okay, so that's the dossier system. Another part of the dossier system, before I forget to mention, is the fact that with all of the IMS software modules, wherever there is the capability to work with files and contacts, there is also the capability to email. So for example, I wanted to email this particular doc that I've just scanned in, or any of the other documents, it doesn't matter. I just click this email function and it will pop up very quickly here a nice mail to send. We have here then the attachment, we have here then the file name that has been attached to it in the subject. The text here, it gets from this box here, so you can also have an A4 full of text. It doesn't really matter, and the system will insert it for you. We also have then the predefined signature, which we can do for you, or your IT company can do it, and we just have to incorporate it into our system by a simple name. Very simple, again, it makes it user friendly and gets straight to the point, no messing around with attaching things and doing all the business, just click a button. That is something that I like to do. I like to click buttons, and I like everything to work at the click of a button. Okay, so moving on to the next part then. We have here again some very, very basic data, basic information. Only ask yourself, why do I have here a language when I had a language on the login form? Well, if you do asking yourself that question, there is a very simple answer. This is the language default for this particular client. This client may be German, he may be Dutch, he may be French, whatever. We assign a language to them, and that means their invoicing and all the other relevant data gets done in their language, so we can keep the custom relation in the workflow within our system. I'll show you how that works when we get to the invoicing section, which is here, but for now we're going to remain on the details. You can add a new client, obviously, and if you have the projects module in your system, you can link it to a project. The point of this command button is simply, if you, for example, had your client system first and you started to work with projects, then you would say, oh look, BCN, we want to activate or want to buy, for example, the projects module. We could then link all the relevant data to a particular project at any given time, and the vice versa with the projects. That's also not a problem. So yeah, that's the information briefly described here. Now if we move on to the next tab, you'll see we have addresses. Like with any company, you have an address, and it might have a client that has many addresses or multiple companies or whatever you can think of. The point here is we can add them into our address list, and we can assign that one of those addresses is an invoice address. Now you can either double click this field here, or you can click the little book. Either way, you'll come onto the address form, and here you have then in-depth detail. Again, with basic data, this can be modified to suit your own needs, but for the demonstration we've got simple data, a simple layout, and we have then the option to have multiple telephone numbers, because each address can have, again, multiple telephone numbers. So again, very simple, easy, user-friendly. Moving over to the next tab, you'll see here we do have projects. Again, we have our file structure, our dossier, and that is linked to the project. You can see each project has different files, folders. Excuse my English. So we are updating the data in real time, and you see there is no delay and everything is functioning really smoothly. Again, you can open any one of these by clicking a button, and you can see that it opens it in the correct directory. The same goes for files, for example. If there is photos, on this one there is, and we can say, okay, I want to view it, not a problem. Okay. Now I'm not going to go into the project side. If I double click this now, we'll go on to the projects form, which is not really necessary for this, because we do have a projects and reporting system video which you can find on our YouTube channel. Also, I'm not going to go over to the invoicing section right now, because that I'm going to go give you a complete explanation after I finish the contacts. Okay, so the contacts, again, we have a list of our contacts. We can add a new contact, or we can browse directly to the contacts form, and can we see whether or not this is the default contact. Basically, the default contact is the contact that will have everything emailed to, files sent to by default, of course, and if you choose to send emails to other contacts, that can be done from the contacts form. For example, we take up the default contact, and here we can see we have our clients window. We can see then the contacts linked to that client. We can then see our projects and our contacts linked to our projects. we're going to go back to the client that we're working with right now, and you can see we have the two contacts, and we can also see that we have contact ID. This is handy for when you have new employees come in, newer managers, new project leaders. They go to the projects and they need to make direct contacts with the person. Obviously, face first, they know on hand directly who it is. Again, here you can email files, whatever. It will ask you if you want to select a file, and you can browse the file to that particular contact. So again, full control over what you want to do with your files. Again, you can add extra info, and you can set the default contacts, and it's a basic data, and we can manipulate this and add more data as and when required by you yourselves. Okay, that was the contacts form. Okay, now we're going to go back over to the invoices, and you'll notice immediately this big red blob of text here. Now there is a reason for this. These are highlighted in red because they are outstanding invoices. They have not been paid yet, so I cannot release them as paid. A very handy feature here, which I'll explain in a second over the buttons. For now, you can just say that we have here A to Z sorting on the year, the invoice, the date, and the due date. We all understand what this means, so I'm not going to show you this. Okay, so any one of the fields can be clicked, and you can view the invoice, and it will show it here. This is a really basic layout. Again, can be designed and manipulated to your needs, and as you can see, my invoice is in English, and this is where we come to explaining the language part of this. If I go now into edit mode and I select, for example, the Dutch language, I click save, I go to my invoice and I click view, you will now see that the invoice is explained in Dutch, and all the text is in Dutch, and this is the same for any given language in the system. Okay, I'm going to go back to my details now. I'm just going to put it back onto UK, and here we go, back in English. Very straightforward and very simple. Now, okay, you can, oh, and of course, not forgetting the little email button here on the side. You can email individually each invoice, but we are going to show you that in another manner of working. You can, from this point, add a new invoice. You can select a field, and you can then open the invoices form with the button, or you can double click. Now we can view the open invoices, a very handy little tool. Basically we'll sort everything that's open for this particular client, and you can do this. This will then shoot all of those open invoices into an email with your default signature and some default text which can be manipulated to your needs, and you'll see here that the invoices have been added. This saves time and effort when it comes to do your administration. Any person who works in this level of administration will know this. So we can remove the filter. Same can be said for the credited invoices. We can list all of our credited invoices. We can view our credited invoices. Of course, we have here a different layout than our normal invoice, as per usual. So I'm going to remove this filter. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my invoices form, which is pretty much the final stage of the client invoicing. Again, like I said, very, very simple, basic needs that we are covering here, but we can manipulate this to be as complicated as you want. It all depends on your company's requirements. So we have, starting from the top, we list our year, we list our invoice number, and the invoice short text can be also manipulated to suit your company's needs. The invoice, who it's made by, the client, the contact from the client, and then a description. I will explain more about that in a second. And over here then you have the date, the due date, the intervention date, and a few variables that can be manipulated. For example, if it's paid, if it's credited, if it's an EEC invoice, if the VAT is shifted, or it needs to have a reminder. Again, you can view the invoice, we can print it directly out to the printer, and we also put it digitally as a PDF. From here you can open also directly the invoices folder, and this will list all of the invoices that have been printed out till date, and you can email and create a new invoice. Basic command buttons, basic things that you need to do your invoicing system. Now, as I said, I will explain the description. The reason for the description is I was asked by one member, one client, if they could have another way of filtering their invoices. They wanted to be able to have a user-friendly terminology rather than searching by date all the time or invoice number. They wanted to name their invoices. So for now, we kept the names. They're pretty much the same as the product, but they can be anything that they want to be, really. It all depends on the logic of their company or your company. So what does that do? Basically, we have a list here, and from this list we can, example, I'm going to select assistant restoration, and then you will immediately see in this window everything is filtered on that description. It's really handy if you want to do this, and because it just limits your list down to a particular filter and different criteria, and that filter can be removed. You can see immediately then again my list of unpaid invoices. Okay, so that's the filtering. You can filter between dates, from, to, and description. We kept it basic, but again, it can be manipulated to suit your own needs. And on the right-hand side, you will see a very easy, nice, user-friendly layout for the units, for the type of product that you'll be doing, and the price inclusive or exclusive VAT. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that. I mean, there are hidden things like when you, for example, put a 0 in here, the printing out of the invoice will be different, but they're very, very small details that's not necessary to show off in the demonstration for now. What I can do, for example, if I take away the reminder and I go to view the invoice, you'll have just a normal invoice, normal layout. If I put the reminder back on, then you will have an invoice, and we'll add the percentage that you deem necessary to have on top of the invoice. For now, we've put it as demo material. We'll put 15% of the price included, and then every time they give a reminder, it will be an extra 15%. Again, these are options and can be manipulated to suit your needs. The EC invoice is a little bit different, because it has to meet European standards. If we view the invoice now, of course this one opens up my other monitor screen, you will see here at the bottom you get intra-community supply minus free of VAT in application to Article 39 bis and new tax. This is a legislation, and you are obliged to do it if you're working from Europe, out of Europe, and so on. Just going to remove that and save it. And then credited and paid, they speak for themselves. If I do the paid, then all the red will go away, because the system will know that that is paid. What do we have here? Also, we have credit notes. We can see our credit notes listed here, and we can see our open invoices like on the other form. This is just in a little bit more detail, and if we would click this now, it would then filter the system on that particular open invoice. It's just another way of viewing all of our open invoices. And again, you can email all of those invoices by clicking this particular button here. Simple and straightforward. And that's it. Again, very basic layout, and in my eyes, what you would need to do a simple invoicing. We are connected with accounting companies, so everything here is abiding by legislations and regulations, and we can manipulate this further to suit any need your company would require. I'm going to go back now to my client's form, and just another thing to mention, you will notice that the forms do not need to load anymore. There is no delay between moving and switching between forms. Everything remains in memory. The only thing that will be updated will be then the information. So now If I open it, you can see here directly that there is no need to load the form again. The data is just updated with the necessary information. Very, very quick, real time, no hassle. As you can see here. And that's it. And if we go now back to the admin menu, and we remove our clients, we come back to our default layout like this, and you can see that I'm still connected to my current client Epoch, and I'm in the Tavern. The Tavern project has been opened, and this is the time and the current time and the date. Okay, well, thank you very much for viewing this demonstration. I hope everything is to your liking. Again, if you would need any more information on about what we do and what we can offer for you, at the bottom here you'll see info at PCN Solutions. From that, you can get in touch with us, and we'll give you as much information as you need on any ideas that you could come up with. So it's been very nice doing the video, and I hope to see you again in our channel. Please subscribe and please like us, and if you find this interesting, please share us with other social medias, so that we can get ourselves across into the market a little bit better. Thank you very much, and have a great day.